Bleacher Report just released their top 20 WNBA player rankings ahead of the 2025 season. So who's in the top 5? Number 1, A'ja Wilson. Number 2, Napheesa Collier. Number 3, Breanna Stewart. Number 4, Alyssa Thomas. And number 5, Caitlin Clark. So let's talk about it.
Did you see the latest WNBA player rankings? Caitlin Clark, who finished 4th in MVP voting, somehow slipped to 5th in the overall rankings. The level of disrespect is unreal, and Rachel DeMita isn't having it. How does a player who revolutionized women's basketball in her rookie season get downgraded? The media's reasoning: turnovers and a lack of championships. But seriously, who expects a rookie to have rings already? That logic completely falls apart when you think about it. Something deeper is going on here. The pattern is too clear to ignore. The bias against the rising face of the WNBA is real, and Rachel DeMita just exposed it.
But let's talk about this top 5 because I don't love it. As you can probably guess, I don't love it. Caitlin Clark at 5 is crazy to me, and it's crazy to me just off the rip because if we look at the MVP voting from last season, she was number 4 in MVP voting. It was A'ja, Napheesa, Breanna, and then Caitlin. I don't know how she slides down into the number 5 spot, especially behind Alyssa Thomas.
Let's take a step back. Clark was voted the 4th most valuable player in the entire league during her first season, an incredible feat. So how does someone who was that impactful suddenly fall in the rankings? This makes no sense, especially when you factor in the undeniable influence she's had on the league's visibility, popularity, and business. Fans aren't buying the media's numbers, and neither should you.
The conversations around Caitlin Clark are reminiscent of crash outs, very often completely out of proportion to the reality of this point, but it is strange to see them continue with such passion, and really all they are is an indication of Caitlin Clark's motion and popularity.
What makes this even more confusing is who ranked ahead of her. Alyssa Thomas. A talented player, no doubt, but she battled injuries throughout the season.
Because Alyssa Thomas is a veteran getting older in this league, and Caitlin Clark is only going into her 2nd season. She's also not coming off of a college season. She essentially played an NBA season last year, the amount of games that she played. She has had an entire offseason to get stronger, to get ready for the 2nd WNBA season, and now she has pieces around her.
How does someone who missed time with health issues outrank the rookie who lit up the league night after night? Rachel DeMita called the rankings crazy and questioned exactly this. She pointed out how absurd it is to put an injury-hampered veteran above a player who just changed the game. Meanwhile, Clark was driving a massive surge in fan engagement. WNBA attendance shot up 74% league-wide. Her team, the Indiana Fever, sold out 17 straight home games, a franchise record. TV viewership exploded. Regular season games averaged 1.22 million viewers, up 170% from the previous year. Millions of new fans tuned in. That's not hype, that's data. And yet somehow, all of that gets overlooked.
Personal opinion, she shouldn't be 5. She absolutely shouldn't be 5. I have her top 3. Probably top 2.
This ranking controversy is about more than just numbers. It's about narrative control. It feels like there's an unwritten rule. Rookies aren't allowed to become the face of the league right away, no matter how impactful they are. There's a clear hesitation to fully embrace what Clark represents, and that's the real issue.
She was getting double and triple teamed last season, face guarded. You guys have seen it. We've talked about it so many times on here, and she was still in the top 4 of MVP voting and still broke so many records as a rookie.
Let's remember what Clark actually did. She entered a league full of seasoned veterans, got knocked around every night, played through brutal defenses, and still put up MVP-level numbers. Yet somehow, these rankings suggest she's regressed. That's just absurd. It's almost like the message is, thanks for the massive ratings and sold-out arenas, but know your place. Rachel DeMita called it out, and she's absolutely right. Clark's influence can't be captured by stats alone. She's attracting sponsors, elevating broadcast deals, and giving the WNBA more attention than it's ever had.
So let's talk about why they put her at number 5. The writer says Clark was also somewhat tough to slot. Having a rookie ahead of multiple champions and MVPs feels like a case of too much too soon. And there aren't court quibbles to poke at. The turnover numbers, I knew this was coming. Though explainable with coverage and degree of difficulty, context are still a lot. There is certainly growth needed defensively, particularly off the ball.
The excuses being thrown around to justify Clark's low ranking, utter nonsense. They're harping on 2 points, turnovers, and a lack of championships. But when you actually break that down, both arguments fall apart. Let's talk turnovers first. Yes, she had some, but no one's asking why. Rachel DeMita explained it perfectly. Clark's passing is so advanced, so precise, that it often exposed her teammates' inability to read the game at the same level. Imagine this. Clark threads a perfect bounce pass between 3 defenders, expecting her teammate to cut to the basket. But the teammate hesitates. The ball goes out of bounds. Clark gets the turnover, even though the play was brilliant.
It's like, as much as people harp on Caitlin about turnovers and not having any rings, I just want to take this mic and bang it against my head if I hear someone else say that she hasn't won anything and that's why we can't label her as great.
That's what makes Clark different. She's ahead of the game. She sees windows before they even open, and often her teammates couldn't keep up. So she gets hit with a stat that doesn't reflect the real story.
There is no one like Caitlin Clark in the history of the WNBA.
And it wasn't a one-time thing, it happened again and again. Clark was punished on the stat sheet for seeing the game at a higher level than those around her. That's not a weakness. That's vision. But instead of celebrating it, the media used it against her. And then there's the championship argument. Rachel DeMita shut that down fast, and rightfully so. Championships are team accomplishments, not individual ones. Using rings to rank individual players, especially rookies, is lazy analysis.
So LeBron goes in the league his first season and doesn't win an NBA title, and all of a sudden he can't be top 5 in MVP voting. Like, we don't do this in any other sport, and we especially don't do it in basketball. We do not rank NBA players based on if they won in college or how many titles they had.
DeMita called